Hey everybody, we're here with vanbassador with Ted Clark from Hub Town Tours. Ted, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, happy to be here.
Tell us, what is Hub Town Tours?
So Hub Town Tours, we specialize in small group tours of Boston, Massachusetts. We love history. There's about 40 of us out there. We've got history teachers, we've got master's students, we've got archaeologists, we've got a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist. We've got a hell of a staff.
That's amazing. I didn't know that we still had journalists in this country.
We do, there's a couple.
That's good.
I got into this through public history. So I got my degrees in US history and archaeology, and pretty quickly realized that there was not going to be a career path, a normal one at least. So I got into museums first. I then jumped over to the National Park Service. And then about a decade ago, I stepped out the door because the best job of being a park ranger is leading tours. And what we do, we sort of longer form, in-depth, chronological narrative. And honestly, I like to say that if we have anybody who doesn't like history, it's because they just weren't taught history in an interesting way.
So I'm curious how you suggest people teach history in schools today in America.
Yeah, so cause and effect is a real thing. And also, myths are good. Don't get me wrong. I love a good myth. That's a legend. It's something that as a child, it's easy to understand. But history is shades of gray. There's a lot of nuance in the space. It's complex. And the people who made history are just people like you or me. I think we have a tendency to put people up on pedestals. We build statues of them. We make them, 6'4" with a chiseled chin. And the reality is Paul Revere was 5'5", and he looked a lot like Jack Black.
So do you find that our approach to history is different than some of the other guests on your tours that are not from the U.S.?
Yeah, so we get people from all around the world. And sometimes we get guests who, oh, I'm international, I don't really know this history, make sure you meet me at base knowledge zero. Our response is always, Americans don't know this history any more than you do. They were taught it maybe in 5th grade, they were taught it maybe in 8th grade, maybe they took an AP class or something, but they're coming to it with fresh eyes as an adult for us. And we think these are stories that are not just for Americans. The United States of America holds a special spot, I think, in the psyche of the world, and the lessons, what happened in Boston, the Revolutionary era, it's something that applies to everyone's life around the world. Self-government is something for absolutely everyone.
And what's the most interesting reactions you get?
Oh, what's the most interesting reaction we get? We get a wide variety of reactions. I think what always it comes down to, whether local or international visitors, is how small Boston is, and quite frankly, how few people were involved in the creation of the United States of America. Boston was a town of 15,000 residents. When all of this went down, 1 in 10 maybe had a vote at that time, so you're down to a voting pool of about 1,500 people. And the ripple effect of dropping that stone in that lake 250 years ago, some big waves have come out of it. So I think it's the human scale that you can picture yourself being part of this. We always try to get people to put themselves into the history. Again, whether they're from Boston, whether they're from Massachusetts, whether they're from New England, whether they're from the United States, whether they're from around the world, these are stories that resonate, and they're real people that came before us.
Ted, what are some messages that you have for our current day America?
Yeah, so we got our start doing the revolutionary story. You go to Boston, the Freedom Trail, it's all good. We added over the last couple of years 2 more revolutions to our tour catalog. So the Civil War, that war didn't just happen in a vacuum. Some politics came before it. Abolitionism. Boston is sort of the hotbed of abolitionist politics. It's a fascinating world of Americans trying to decide, well, who gets to be an American? Who gets these rights? What does it mean, liberty and justice for all? If millions of people are enslaved in your country. And for abolitionists in Boston, that was unacceptable. We've also added another chapter, so suffragists. How did women become citizens of the United States of America? That wasn't something just given to women. That is a story of nearly 100 years of politicking, but it goes all the way back to the Revolution. Taxation without representation is tyranny. So, if you don't have a vote, you shouldn't pay taxes. That's how it works.
There it is. You heard it straight from Ted. Anybody out there who's paying taxes and doesn't vote, just stop paying the taxes. You'll be fine.
The IRS, I apologize.
They already know your address. They're already on their way.
Yeah,
So, Ted from Hub Town Tours, thanks for joining the Vanbassador.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
See you later.